Hi all, I wanted to make a quick video about Camarilla pivots. I think I found one of the best Camarilla pivots on TradingView. Before I begin, I would like to mention that this is an educational channel. All content over here is for the sake of education. Kindly read the disclaimer you see on the screen and in the description below. With that said, let's proceed. So we'll straight away go on to our charts. In this case, we'll work backwards. We'll work from a higher time frame coming down to a lower time frame. The Camarilla pivot works in any way from weekly, monthly to down to 5 minutes. All right, so let's go ahead and look at it. So over here, we are working on a chart which is showing two stocks. On the right hand side, you can see Zydus. On the left hand side, you can see Bajaj Finserv. Now, over here, if you see, let's give it a little bit of a read. There are only two indicators working on top. The first one is called Camarilla pivots and the other one is called CMEMA trend bars. CMEMA trend bars is working on default setting. I've just changed the colors a little bit. I've made this green a little more brighter, so on and so forth. All right. But basically CMEMA trend bars works on EMA 34, which is left the way it is. Only some color changes have been made. I've made this instead of red purple because candles also are red, and when you have this moving average also red, it kind of gets confusing at times. So on top, when it's going up, I've used green, but when it's going down, I've used purple. That's the only change I've made. Now let's coming on to this Camarilla pivot that we are using. This pivot is called, let's go to about the script, Camarilla pivots by Chipmunk. All right, this is not the default Camarilla pivots. This is a pivot made by a particular author. Let's do a little bit of reading. A slimmed tone clearer version of pivot point standard indicator. This is for Camarilla pivots only. The S and R pivots are renamed to L and H, and the colors of the pivot 1 and 2 are faded out by default since those pivots are less used in Camarilla trading system, which is very true. When you're using Camarilla pivots, the S1, S2 and R1, R2 are kind of not very important. It becomes very important from S3 and R3. They can also be disabled, of course, if you want. So it's telling that 1 and 2 you can disable if you want. They've added H6 and L6. That means it's been further expanded to show very strong breakouts or breakdowns. Then this release notes, some other changes have been added. This is not required for us. You can go ahead and read if you want to further understand. But in my view, what is important is till here. So we'll put our emphasis only till here. All the ones below that are not too important. All right. So what by default, the color chosen by the author is green. I've only changed the color and I've changed nothing else. Instead of green, I'm using white. So I've just made those changes over here. If you see, this generally by default is green. I have made it white. That is the only change I have made. I have not even changed the intensity of colors. Where it was 30, 60, I've left it 60. When it was 30, I've left it 30. Where it was 100, I've left it 100. So this section was green. I have made it white, but apart from that, no changes have been made to the input section. No changes have been made to the style section. Only color changes have been made to the lines. By default, they are green. I'm using white. So now let's look at these two stocks. On the left hand side, I've got Zydus, and on the right hand side, I've got Bajaj Finserv. They both are using the Camarilla pivots, and the time frame that you're viewing this chart is on the weekly time frame. This Camarilla pivots, again, as I mentioned in the beginning, can work from weekly down to 5 minutes. It's good for everything. All right. Again, for people who are used or people who know about trading pivots, they will immediately understand the moment they look at this indicator what it's trying to show. Now you can see over here Bajaj Finserv. Again, this is not stock recommendation. I'm trying to prove a point about pivots. I'm just using these stocks as an example. That's it. No stock recommendations over here. Now if you see Bajaj Finserv, it's taken this L3 support, and you see how well it has been respecting this L3 support over here. All right. Now it has been respecting this L3 support from last year December or Jan of this year, you can say, and almost the whole year has gone by where it has respected this L3 support. It's only gone below that once and quickly recovered. So basically this line over here of about 1541 is a very, very strong support for Bajaj Finserv, right? Okay, and the chances of this going up from here are pretty high because Bajaj Finserv has been consolidating for a long time. But again, forget about Bajaj Finserv. What this is showing over here is how well the information is displayed by this Camarilla pivots. It clearly shows L3 is a support line for Bajaj Finserv. On the right hand side, you can see that this stock is in a bullish trend on the weekly format, quite bullish actually. It's above H3, it's above H4, and it had gone even above H5. So why is this on the chart? While it's going down, why are we putting this on the chart? Yesterday I have made a video also about including Zydus Life Science into your watch list. All right, because I think the stock will bounce at least till these levels till here. From here, it may take a dip down. Reason being, when I double click on the screen, when you look at the MACD at the bottom, it's trying to turn. I'm not too sure whether it will turn, but it's trying to turn. This is just an MACD and RSI combo. MACD is in its default settings. Only colors have been changed. Input is 12.26.9, which is the default MACD settings. Histogram is disabled. Colors have just changed. By default, it comes on the some other colors. So I've just changed the color. The zero line I've made yellow. Intensity has not been changed. RSI I'm only using for borders. 70, 50, 30. That's about it. Nothing else is working on the RSI. RSI is only showing me white color on top, white color at the bottom for borders, and 50% mark is blue. That's about it. So at about the 30 mark, RSI is, the MACD is beginning to turn over here. So this stock may bounce from here. But apart from that, for people who are on the free version of TradingView and can use only two indicators, I would just suggest use this Camarilla pivot and use the CME trend bars. You don't need to use the MACD RSI combo, but if you're on the paid version and you can use more than two indicators, then definitely go in for the RSI MACD combo at the bottom. If I enable that on both of these, you can see that Bajaj Finserv is holding on to the center line and not giving up. It's just trying to stay above the center line. And in this Zydus Life Science, it's trying to turn. All right. Now from here, we'll shift and we'll go on to our indexes. This was just an example to show you how they are looking with this Camarilla pivots. Let's shift to our indexes like we generally do. On the right hand side, we'll have Nifty. On the left hand side, we'll have Bank Nifty. So this is how they look currently. Again, when we are looking at indexes, we will try and go on to lower time frames. All right, so on the MACD and RSI, they both look like this. If you expand it, it looks like this. There's a kind of a bounce in Nifty on the weekly time frame from the H3 kind of levels, and Bank Nifty has taken support from H2 kind of levels, which is visible over here. If it breaks and goes above this H4, then a strong breakout can happen, or is a possibility in Bank Nifty. Let's just wait and watch. Now we'll try and bring this to daily time frame, and we'll bring this to daily time frame as well. Again, as you can see, it looks pretty interesting on the daily time frame as well. Information given is useful information. Anybody who's been trading or has experience of more than 2-3 years at least will immediately know what they're looking at on the screen. Let's move from daily to 4 hours. It looks like this. Let's get down to a very small time frame. Hourly looks like this. You can see it's above the H5. Let me shift to hourly over here also. It looks like this. You can see Bank Nifty is super bullish. Let's get down to 30 minutes on both. You can see both of them are super bullish. Currently, Nifty is above H5 and Bank Nifty is trying to break H6. All right, let's go down to 15 minutes. Over here also, let's shift to 15 minutes. Are both on 15 minutes? Yes. Now when it goes to 15 minutes, you can see that it's taking, Nifty is taking support from pivot. This blue line is the pivot line. It's taking support. I've changed all the colors from 1 to 6 to white, but the pivot is blue. All right, so I forgot to mention that earlier. In this case, also the pivot is this blue line over here. I'll show you what I mean by this. Just give me a moment. You can see I've changed the colors, but the pivot I've made blue. This by default is some other color. I don't know which color. I've made the pivot blue and all the levels I've made white. All right. So this is how Nifty looks on the 15 minutes time frame. Again, taking support from pivot. It touching the pivot and jumping up and trying to stay above the CM EMA trend bars 34 line on the 15 minutes time frame. Here also you see it's trying to stay above the 34. It has taken a marginal dip. It may again bounce up. Now let's look at it on the 5 minutes time frame. 5 minutes time frame, yesterday's chart is useless when it comes to both Nifty and Bank Nifty. The last 2-3 days have been a little crazy when it comes to our domestic indices, because there have been spikes both in Nifty and in Bank Nifty, but especially in Nifty, which is kind of unprecedented. The idea, I think, with the SEBI regulations was to decrease the kind of volatility. It seems to be going the other way around. So we'll discount the charts for the time being, but if you can see, Nifty over here also has exactly, when it dipped over here, it exactly bounced from the pivot level and went up again. So it's respecting this pivot level even on the 5 minutes chart. All right, so this particular Camarilla pivot is phenomenal. It's a very informative kind of a Camarilla pivot. I'll just switch it back to weekly format so that I can show you things on a larger time frame. This is Nifty on the weekly, and on the left hand side I've got Bank Nifty on the weekly, and this is how they look with RSI MACD at the bottom as well. Again, RSI MACD is for people who are on the paid version. They can add it. For people who are on the free version, just use the Camarilla pivots on top, and the CME trend bars along with it works phenomenally well. Both of them are in the default settings. I will leave the name of the indicator and the author name in the comment section so that you have no difficulty finding. Again, I would like to mention that this can be used on stocks, this can be used on indices, and this is probably the best Camarilla pivot settings I've come across. It just works phenomenally well. You don't need to make any changes. Just leave it on its default setting. Just make color changes like I have made. If at all you're wanting to make color changes, for me the central pivot is blue and the others are white. Otherwise you can leave it in the default settings as well. Just remember, in Camarilla pivots, R3 or H3, whichever, this guy has renamed, this author has renamed R3 to H3. So R3 or H3 and above is important, and same is the case low. L3 and lower will be important. In normal terms, it would be called S3. So these are the important points you got to remember. 3 and above on top, and 3 and lower below are important when it comes to Camarilla pivots. That's why the author has kind of made the 1 and 2 on both up and down kind of a little dim. All right, so as long as you remember that concept about Camarilla pivots, you will do phenomenally well with this particular Camarilla pivot indicator, because if I was to design a Camarilla pivots, my design would be very similar to the way this author has made it. So I'm extremely happy that I discovered this Camarilla pivots. I would suggest everyone to give it a go and see whether they can become more productive by using this Camarilla pivots. So thank you everyone for watching this video. If you're a subscriber, consider becoming a member on the channel by clicking on the join button. It's a very small fee every month. If you're not yet subscribed, please subscribe to the channel, share this video with your family and friends. Please click on the like button. The moment you like our videos, when you hit that like button, give our videos a thumbs up. It motivates us to make more videos for you. Also subscribe to our free Telegram channel. The link is given in the description below in all our videos. I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.